If you're trying to fix your aim or you're trying to get the best controller settings, this is the video you need to be using. In today's video, I'm going to be showing what controller settings you need to be using and exactly how you need to be taking advantage of these. If you guys liked today's video, please make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and keep those post notifications on so you don't miss any more setting videos like this one. I appreciate you guys. Let's get right into it. Alright, for starters, I'm using a simple PS5 controller. It does have two back paddles. Is the PS5 Edge controller, and for that I'm going to play on default. You guys could use other settings like tactical if you don't have controller paddles. It might help things a little bit easier, or maybe learning how to play claw might be a little bit more beneficial for you guys. But for the controller layout, we're going to keep everything at default. My sensitivity is 1.6, 1.6 for horizontal. For simplified controls, I have this off. For everything, I don't want to swap the button layouts or anything like that. I have my controller vibration off. I just think it helps with a smoother gameplay experience. That's just me. I do have my trigger effect off. But overall, your sensitivity doesn't need to be too crazy. A 1.6, 1.6 is what used to be 6.6 on the old sense. And every 0.2 is going to change 1. So let's say I went to 1.8, that would be 7. You go up maybe to 2, that's going to be 8. So every 0.2 is going to go up in the old system by 1, if that makes any sense to you guys. I think that having it at a 6.6, a slower sense but not too slow, and it helps you track your enemies better, and it'll help to where you're not overcorrecting or overshooting, making it easier to hit your shots, making sure that your aim is exactly where it needs to be. A lot of people say that you need very fast sense. I really just don't think that's the case. It may look a little bit quicker on other people's screen, but I promise you a lot of the pros aren't going to be using any higher sense more than 6.6 or 7.7, which is now 1.6, 1.8. All right, let's get into the dead zone. So for my dead zones, I have a left stick minimum of 0 and then a left stick maximum of 65. This is just so I can move very quickly. It is very touchy. And it just helps for, I think, better, more reactive movement. You're going to want to be able to move very fast, especially in Verdansk with the TTK being so high as it is. It just helps with jiggling, getting out of the way. It's very effective to have your left stick max at this sense. It just helps with movement a lot better. So our right stick minimum is going to be 0. And I've seen a lot of people saying that like you want to have it to where you have no stick drift. With my controller in particular, it's very minimal on the stick drift. If you have crazy stick drift, I would definitely think about moving it up a little bit to maybe you could probably do 3, maybe 4 at the maximum if it's really that bad. If not, I would just keep it at 0. It just makes things a whole lot easier. Very responsive is the why I have things the way that they are. And then the right stick max is going to be at 99. My left trigger is at 1 and 1. I don't know the difference if there is one between 0 and 1. I just have it at 1. I'm sure you could have it at 0 and things would still be fine. But I just have mine set at 1 and 1. All right, so heading over to the aiming tab, we're going to start off with the sensitivity multiplier. Now, the only one that's really important is going to be the ADS sensitivity multiplier. I have that at 0.85. This will help a lot more when you're ADSing and keep you on track with your target. Now, when we go over here, we're going to keep the standard ADS advanced settings. This will pair very well with your ADS sensitivity setting. ADS sensitivity transition time is instant. It just helps for a lot more smoother gameplay, a lot better transitioning time. You're going to want to have it on instant. It's going to feel better. Your shots are going to hit a little bit smoother. Assist, obviously. And then the aim response curve type is going to be dynamic. I've seen a lot of people say linear or standard. Dynamic is just a lot better for tracking and keeping on and just abusing your aim assist. You're going to want to keep it on dynamic. You're going to be able to hit a lot more shots, and I promise you will definitely see a difference if you keep it that way. Alrighty, let's keep going. Obviously, target aim assist and ADS aim assist, you're going to want to have those checked. That is a huge thing about being on controller. It is a major advantage. If these are not on, you're probably going to miss a lot of shots, no matter how good you are. Alrighty guys, let's move over to the movement tab. So for the sprint assist, I already have it on tactical sprint assist. This just means I'm tac sprinting instantly, gun up, I'm running as fast as I possibly can. I think this helps your controller life. I don't have to double click on my analogs. It just helps with that a lot better, and I just think it's better for movement, a little bit more smoother, especially when you start to get used to it. I have manual assist off, crouch assist off. I have corner slicing off. A lot of people, I feel like that might be preference. I don't like it when my gun is kind of aiming to the side. It just throws me off a little bit. Not my favorite thing. I do have slide and dive behavior on hybrid. This was broken for a while. They have finally fixed it, so you can go ahead and put that on again if you guys have been using it with it off. I have automatic airborne mantle is going to be off. My sprint restore is on. My slide maintain sprint is on. Off, and then movement advanced settings. You have this. Most of them are off. I do have tacto sprint activation at single tap sprint, and my grounded mantle is going to be on. Alrighty guys, moving over to the combat tab, I have all of these basically at default. I don't change a whole lot. I think the bigger ones here that I like to have is apply all for the armor plate, and then if you come down here to the combat advanced settings, I make sure that I have my prioritize interact. That just makes it super easy so I can pick up things quickly when I'm looting. That is a huge thing for just flow and feel for the game. I do have sprint cancels reload off as well. I think that that's just my personal preference. I don't want to have to keep reloading over and over and over again. I just think that it makes it a little bit more annoying, and it kind of gets you out of that flow state. Alright guys, so we switched over to the graphics settings, and we're in the view tab now. For this, I think a lot of people don't take into account how visually your screen is looking while you're gaming. Now I use a 120 FOV, but I'm also using a 1440, 240 hertz Alienware monitor. So it's going to be a little bit different if you aren't using a computer monitor and you're maybe using a TV. You won't be able to see a lot of the things that I see. So that's why I have everything so widespread. So I sit a lot closer than most people might. So if you're on a TV screen, you're probably not going to want to use these settings. So you have to kind of take that into account. So if you are using something different than a computer monitor and you are using a TV screen, I highly suggest that you turn this down to probably 100 to 105 or maybe even to 110. I think that particularly will give you a lot more visual visibility on your enemy, because if you widen out the screen, it's going to make your enemies look a lot smaller, and it's going to be a harder object for you to see, and so therefore it's going to be a harder object for you to hit. So that is going to be where you're going to want to sit. I'm going to put mine at 120 though, because I am on a computer monitor, and I think that with the visual recoil alone, it helps a lot with that. It makes my shots not move as much. It makes my screen shake and my gun recoil look a lot less than it actually is. I think the default is 80, and you don't want to be anywhere near that because it's so blown in. It makes the gun shake a little bit more unbearable. And so 100 to 120 is a really good sweet spot. All right, without that being said, let's move on. I use affected and I use wide on my weapon field. It just makes the gun a lot smaller. Again, you can see more. It's a little bit more visibility, and I think it helps with the visual recoil on a lot of guns. And the two big things as well, you're going to want to make sure you have your world motion blur off, weapon blur off, and then your camera movement to least. This just helps with everything when you're going into gunfights. Makes everything look a lot smoother, a lot cleaner, and you're going to have a lot better experience when you're playing. It just makes the game look and feel a lot better. Alright guys, so let's go ahead and show you exactly how to use these settings properly. I'm going to show you how to use aim assist better, how to center better, and hopefully a lot of this will start to help your gameplay and your gunfights go a lot more smoothly than they usually would. We're going to go ahead and hop into the firing range and put all this stuff together. Right off the bat, let's talk about aim assist. I feel that a lot of people do not move their left stick a lot when they're aiming. So I think that this is all left stick, right? And it's going to stay right there. And you can see that bubble, that kind of hitch that it stays with. I mean, you could just see how there's a bubble around it, and you could feel it when you try. You want to try this a lot, like as well. Obviously, visually, it doesn't really look like a whole lot, but you can feel that there's a bubble around it, that it just sticks on him real quick for a second. So that is very huge. Is using your left stick a lot is going to help you during gunfights. I know a lot of people complain about their aim assist not being as sticky, and it maybe not be working as well for them. In gunfights, you really want to use your left stick. It's going to use that rotational aim assist. And rotational aim assist is only kicked in when you're using your left stick as well as using your right. When you pair the two together, it's going to feel a lot better. Your shots are going to hit. You're going to feel like you have stickier aim, and you're going to really feel the difference. If you're just standing there and you're just using this, it's a whole lot harder than I'm only using my left stick right now. But when I use my right stick, it's so much easier to track, and it helps them, especially when they're moving as well. Both of those combined, the moving the left stick, them moving, is really going to kick in that extra rotational aim assist, and you will feel the difference. Another thing that I see that people have a very bad habit with is their centering. So with your centering, it's basically if you're not looking up at where you should be, or maybe even pre-aiming or expecting where enemies are going to be. So usually you're going to want to have your crosshairs in that mid chest area. No matter what you're doing, you're always going to want to keep it at that mid level. It just makes it to where when you're ready to fire, when you're ready to shoot, that it's going to be in the right space at the right time, right? So it makes it to where whatever you're doing, you're able to really just hit those shots instantly. Because if you're down here and then you have to go up to here, it's going to make it a lot harder, right? Because you have more movement. And with this fast TTK, this and to this could be the whole difference between a gunfight. So you're going to want to make sure that you're keeping everything centered and you're making everything kind of a little bit more easier in these gunfights. And that goes for everything. And I'll show you guys a clip right here. Okay, so right here, I'm going to show you guys a perfect example of great centering and great pre-aiming, right? So I'm expecting him to be right here. I'm in a perfect spot to where maybe if he comes around this corner, that's exactly where it needs to be, right? I guess wrong, and he happens to be over here. But because my aim is already at the right level, all I have to do is move over a little bit, right? And it comes right to where he's at. It was right perfectly at the level. It could have been a headshot. I cracked his plates, and I just moved. But you see the whole time I'm moving my body. I went from right, and I'm moving to left, right? And then I move a little bit more to the right. And then I'm moving again. I'm moving with him, with my body to the left. That is a huge part of where the aim assistant, and especially, look, I'm already pre-aiming properly right there. And good centering. He's going to be right there, and that's exactly where he is. And he's coming down, and boom, right? I missed my shot. Maybe it was a little bit of lag. I don't know. That should have felt like it should have hit to me, right? But boom, I hit him again, and we're moving. I'm going to show you guys exactly another perfect. And look, they already call me hackers. They're already calling me a hacker. All that is, guys, is perfect centering and abusing aim assist. There's nothing crazy going on here, right? So we move over here. I kind of expect him a little bit to be right there, right? I'm kind of expecting him to be right here. So he's right there, right? I know this now. I move out of the way because I see him now. And then this is going to be another example of how you should aim when you're expecting somebody. I'm already kind of centering up. I'm already looking up. I'm already getting ready to ADS. Boom, gone. It wasn't, I didn't have to make a crazy adjustment, and we'll kind of replay this back in slower motion. Expected him down there, he wasn't down there, so I move out. And now I know where he's at, and I'm already moving up. I have the ADS exactly where it needs to be, and these guys are calling me hackers. It was nothing crazy. It was nothing insane besides me just having perfect centering and game knowledge of where people could be in certain fights. Once you start fighting in these certain areas, you know where people are going to start playing. You know where they're going to start hiding. You know where they're going to be coming from. So the great thing is to anticipate, have good centering, so that when you're ready to fight, all you have to do is point, aim, and shoot, right? As soon as you have the good centering, it makes it so much easier to kill people because you're not having to move your sticks a lot. And with the fast CTK, you cannot afford to have bad movement. So I hope this helps you guys a little bit better in what you guys should be doing during gunfights, how to center and how to abuse that aim assist, guys. So that's going to wrap up our aiming video, guys. I hope the settings and the guide help you a lot. Let me know down in the comments if you have any more questions. I would love to help you guys out. That's going to wrap up our aiming video, guys. I hope the settings along with the guide really help. Let me know down low in the comments if you guys have any more questions about this. I'd love to help you guys out. If this video helped you, please make sure to share it with a friend so you can help them with their aim as well. Please make sure to leave a like, subscribe so you keep coming back to the channel. I appreciate you guys, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.